you've sent him off for something he said. You can't say, oh, he didn't say that. That was your lot's fault. And I was so confused saying, but your guys fouled my guy from left wing to right wing and then got in his face afterwards. How is that our fault? We've reacted to something that's happened. And that is when, again, I think we've always been paid. That's your fault. And it's happened. The league have told us as well how much trouble we've started. Don't know what happened that day. I was at the mass one there. Yeah, literally worked out. And while everyone's getting ready for the wedding, I remember I was getting my kids ready, my wife was getting ready, and I remember sending a text to our little group chat saying, lads, we're going to have a football club. And we played a friendly against the team. We paid our fees. The opposition ran away, literally shot off, even though I said to the gaffer, you got paid 20 quid to Lawrence. Lawrence then tried to hold me hostage and say, you owe me £20, which I lost.
Oh, right, okay.
And I said to him, no. And his response was, this is what really got me wound up, was I said, Lord, should I give you £20? He said, yes. I said, why am I going to give you another £20? He said, but I know those fellas, and they're good guys.
Welcome back everybody, and welcome back to another Poges cast and another podcast here today, and I've got a special guest, Ishaq. How you doing, mate?
Not too bad, Dan.
Ishaq's from Baylis FC, and we're just going to have a chat about how they started up and really all about their club, because they're probably one of Slough's newest football teams, and I just want to find out a little bit more around them. So, Ishaq, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good
Stuff, good stuff. Thanks for coming today.
Thanks for inviting me.
No problem at all, no problem at all. So look, tell me about you first of all. That's how we always do this, we chat about yourself, how you got into football and such like. So, yeah, a little about your football and life.
So, I'm Ishaq. So I was born and raised in Slough, in the Baylis area. My dad was very big on football, and growing up he actually had a team, Falcons FC.
Oh right, I remember that. Yeah.
So
okay.
yeah, that was my dad's club back in the 90s.
Yeah.
So growing up, I always went every Saturday. We used to go watch him and stuff like that. So I've always been in football, but my dad was big on cricket at the same time. Being Pakistan and all that stuff, he played a lot of cricket. So we were playing football and cricket growing up. And then what happened is, when I was about 12 or 13, I kind of lost the love of cricket and really fell in love with football.
Okay.
Played, I played for Jones Cross and Former.
Oh right, yeah.
So I played for them from under 12s to about under 15s, and then at 16 we joined Falcons. Truth of it is, growing up I was a bit of a naughty kid, so football was something that I always say, I say it now as well, football kind of saved me.
Yeah.
Because whatever I did, I always used to play football, but it definitely stopped me from, really, I'm not saying I could have been pro or nothing like that, but playing a good level. I think I should have been playing, at least being a little bit known. Me and my brother, I think we played a lot of football, but we just kind of tailed off. 16 played for Falcons, so they came back to life, if you like, and when they came back again, it was under new ownership and stuff like that. My dad was chairman, but we had the two teams, the first team, reserve team, played a lot for the reserve team, just because my dad was managing it and I wanted to play there than the first team. But there was a lot of things that were happening within that club that I wasn't a big fan of.
Okay.
Particularly the way the youngsters were kind of treated, not badly, but they were always, it was like the youngsters were paying essentially for training and stuff like that. But when it came to game time, the superstars would just walk straight in.
The team.
And that was very frustrating for us, and we had a very good reserve team. When they folded, that essentially was the end of my football career for about 2 years. And then I started again, so we were very close with Frontline.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not anymore, but we were very close with Frontline. And I then started to play a few games for them. To be honest, I really enjoyed playing for Frontline. I can't say that.
Nice guys.
Yeah. Top guys, and very welcoming. Gave me, I think at Falcons, in all honesty, I lost a lot of confidence because of the way the youngsters treat. Frontline kind of really put that back into me, just by, not by doing anything, but just literally giving you that freedom. When you're playing, they're like, go on and do something. With Falcons, it's a bit more like they're looking at you like, oh, can we put the youngster on, kind of thing. So yeah, I found the love of it again at Frontline. A few personal things happened, so I stopped playing football. Not that I want to go into those stuff.
No, that's no problem, mate.
A few personal things happened, stopped, come out of football, and then literally in October 2020, at the midst of a pandemic, I decided that I want to stop. my own club and give it a shot and see kind of how it goes. It's crazy because 2 weeks before we started the Baylis, we actually spoke. There was about 4 of us that were going to frontline training for pre-season.
Oh right, okay.
And it was almost done. Yeah, we're going there. We go train. We go work hard. We go play frontline. And I've got you know, quite a good family, quite a big family. There was about 8 of us that were going to go. I was scratching my head thinking, what are you telling me, if I get another 4 or 5 players, I've got my own team?
Yeah.
And it was like, well, okay, let me think about this. And then we put off going to training. My oldest brother was getting married, and on the morning of his wedding day, I woke up and before putting my suit on, I said, I'm going to make my own club. Don't know what happened that day. I was
a mad one then.
Yeah, literally woke up. And while everyone's getting ready for the wedding, I remember I was getting my kids ready, my wife was getting ready, and I remember sending a text to our little group chat saying, lads, we're going to have a football club. And I remember everyone being like, all right mate, see you at the wedding. And I knew I was going to see everyone, so I was like, wow, I got, you know, my old man's there, I could get chairman, I could get my uncle who's, you know, club treasurer, I could get this person to do this. Obviously it didn't work out like that. I mean, a lot of that never happened, but a lot of the lads, my cousins were like, yeah, we want to play football. We all come from a football background, play football since 5 or 6. The thing was, a lot of them had never played 11-a-side before in their life, so it was new to them. So we created that. We got us together. There was about, like I said, about 11. I spoke to a good friend of mine, Mohsin, who's our first team coach now. And another friend of mine, Akib, who's our club sec, which we've spoken to a lot. And us 3 decided these are the roads that we're going to take. Let's go and make this club. And literally out of nothing, I remember the season would. So actually, we started a little bit before. I think in August, and the season started in October.
That's right. Yeah.
And we were literally like, it was about 3 weeks before the season started, and we were like, yeah, we want to join.
Obviously, now, as you know, I'm on the committee, and I remember this late application coming in. And they said, oh, these guys want to start the league, Baylis United FC or something.
We were called for FC Baylis, yeah.
And I thought, cracking hello, what's going on here? And they said, yeah, we want to join the league. I thought, well, okay, yeah, we're desperate to get teams in anyway, so it's all good. But yeah, it's kind of, okay, this is interesting because we've not really had too many Slough-based teams come in.
Yeah, something we noticed as well.
So I thought, okay, let's see where this goes. And yeah, obviously then the season started. Sorry mate, you take it on from there.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, we weren't ready. I mean, I made calls. I didn't know who to call. I didn't know what league to enter.
Yeah.
And I remember I spoke to, I cannot remember the name now, but that fella from the amateur FA actually kind of guided me and said, EBFL is what you're looking for. And I was like, I cannot find a contact for EBFL. And then he sent me Gary Reeves' number.
Yeah.
I spoke to Gary, I said, Gary, this is what we're looking to do. I think the first time I spoke to Gary, I might be wrong, but he was away or on holiday or something like that.
More than likely, yeah.
He was like, when I get back, I'll sort it out. And I was like, oh, Gary, we haven't got that started. So he put me in contact with somebody else. I couldn't remember who. Or it was the other way around, I was speaking to Rob or something along those lines. And yeah, we entered. We weren't ready. We played 1 pre-season friendly before the season started. We lost 5-1.
I'll be honest with you, mate, it told. Some of the results you first had were pretty much a nightmare. I thought cracking them may not last long.
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, it was crazy because we lost 5-1 that first game. We played against a development team. So do you remember the first season?
Right, yeah, development side, yeah.
And we lost to them 5-1, and it was strange because we actually came off that pitch. I remember my brother, who was our skipper at the time, came off and he said, I'll fight for these boys. And it wasn't about the result, it was about kind of what we were doing together. And the first time I ever spoke to my brother and Mohsin and Akib, and I said, we're not going to win games this season, but let's try to identify who we are, what we're looking to achieve, and potentially like what we want to play. Because I've watched football a lot, and I remember when I was growing up, a lot of my brothers and that would take piss at me a little bit about, oh yeah, you know, he thinks he's Sir Alex and stuff like that. But I don't know what it is. Football to me, when I watch it, I see it different to what most people see it. A lot of people see it. I'm not the only one. There's a lot of, you know, that's why those people kind of go into management and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Rather than saying, oh, you know, this is my best player, kick him the ball. I always saw it as like an engine, and you all got to play your part. And from the get-go, we tried to play out from the back. And I remember conversations with our players saying, please let us hoof it. Just get rid of the ball. I remember saying, look lads, it's going to take time. Like, we're not going to win anything tomorrow. It's not that's not the part, you know, that's not the plan anyway. I want to have an identity. I want people to associate when they think of FC Baylis. Well, you know what, they actually play good football.
Yeah.
We give them good games. They very attack. Stuff like that is what I wanted, and that doesn't happen overnight. Especially, like I said, our main centre back now never played football 11-a-side in his life. Hardly played 5 and 7-a-side. I did MMA growing up. He did kickboxing, stuff like that growing up. He was one of my cousins, and his first year playing football, he was 18, and he played centre back for us. He didn't play last week. And when we used to play 5-a-side and 7-a-side, he was one of the least technical out of us.
Yeah.
So 11-a-side suited him down to a T because he was good at headering, loved attacker, and technically he's not great. He's getting better, but it's so he was. And you're looking at it thinking, the spine of the team, thinking he's never played football before. We had our number 10 who played against you lot last week. Really skinny fella.
Oh yeah,
never played football before. He's an awesome player. But we were looking at that spine of the team, thinking, you know, we need some players here as much as we can. And then my other brother, who's our number 9, he was our number 7 in the first year. He's just come back from, well, he just came back from an ACL injury.
Oh wow!
He actually done it. He done it twice over the space of 2 years. The same one. He got operated. He done his surgery. We were playing 5-a-side again, and he was like, I want to go back. And we were like, you know, step by step kind of thing. But we used these guys. These guys were essentially, you know, the backbone of the club. They really helped us from being nowhere, and they're still playing now, and they're not good. They're still in the first team. They really support us. I mean, I've kicked the ball about 5 times for the club, and the initial plan was for me to play. You know, I'm still young, I should be playing.
Yeah.
But we got so many lads that came in. I wasn't even supposed to manage. The plan wasn't for me to manage at all. Our head coach Mohsen was supposed to manage, I was supposed to be playing, but then we ended up getting like 24 players that came in. And you know, it's hard to say to somebody,
I want to play.
You sit down, you know what I mean? And I really had to bite my tongue and take that on the you know, I was like, you know what, I'm not going to play this year. When we're really sure, I'm definitely in the squad. But then the more I managed, the harder it was for me to, like on a game day, I mean, our lads today, for example, they wake up, they'll have their breakfast, all they're thinking about is what I'm going to do today.
Yeah.
But for me, it's almost like, have we got a kit ready? Are the boys going to be on time? Has this guy got his shin pads?
Welcome to every manager's nightmare, isn't it?
It's exactly that, and that's what made me realise, you know what, I don't think I can focus on playing. It's not fair on the club if I then focus on, you know, I need to play, because I literally, you know, take nothing away from everybody else that does a lot of work within the club, but I literally do everything. You know, I support Aki with the admin stuff, I support Mohsen with the training sessions. We now got Rob McFarlane. I don't know if you met him last Saturday.
He's a chubby guy, yeah.
He's such a lovable character. Lads love him. He was a parent, so we used to coach. We had a youth set up as well that didn't last too long. I used to coach his son, and I remember saying to Rob, "Would you like to get involved in the first team?" And he was like, "I'd love to." He's an ex-ref, so he's been in football all his life, played all his life as well. But comes to coaching, he was like, "Oh, I'm nobody to coach." And I was like, "Listen, man, lads with utmost respect for me, whatever decision I make, they're back here. I've got trust in you, I've got faith in you, I've got time, you know, I'll support you through the process." So we got him involved as well. And we're just expanding slowly, you know, adding people to, we've got a good kind of, I call them the board of directors.
Well, no, you do. All jokes to one side, they are. They are your board directors. I'll do the same thing, to be quite honest. You know,
it's good to give them that title as well. I think they enjoy the fact that they've got a role within the club. We've got other people that do, like we've got social media. One of my little cousins, she does a lot of social media, you know, they're crazy on the social media. So she supports our Insta. So if it's bad, I've got nothing to do.
Well, I mean, I was going to come to that later on, because he's crept in and been a bigger thing for grassroots football teams there. For various different reasons.
I think, I mean, one thing that really inspired me was, you know, SC Dons.
Yes.
So I used to watch, it's probably inspired a lot of people, but I used to watch the Dons a lot, and because I love football, and I love grassroots football because it's so natural. You know, what we watch on the telly with the pros, the realistic chance of us being there and stuff like that is beyond, you know, and we talk about players that they don't know who we are from anywhere. I used to love that small kind of small role models, you know who they are, you can actually physically go meet these people,
Yeah.
see their stories, see where they're coming from, and then you realise how much kind of connections you have. You've got similar background and stories.
Exactly.
So for me, grassroots was always like, that's so natural. Why are we not talking about grassroots? You know, why are we not pushing grassroots? Why are we watching these guys? And obviously, it's good to watch the pros and the World Cup and stuff. I'm not against that. I'm a United fan, so I was probably feeling.
Oh, good lads.
Yeah, that's probably why I went towards the grassroots. So yeah, these guys are doing that for me. So grassroots for me was always like, we need to promote this, and that's the Dons really inspired me as well. So that was why I thought, why can't we do it?
And then you found out why.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, and I found out why. We've never done it before, because it's crazy, because you think Wednesday we train and Saturday is game day. There's not a day that I'm not working, as you can imagine. You know, away from a club. So you think it's a little side hustle, oh yeah, enjoy my weekends and play football. There's so much that goes into it. It's crazy, and I love every minute of it, I can't lie.
Tell everybody what you told me about you editing your film.
What, 10 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, when we started, because we wanted to go on YouTube, not straight away, because we didn't get embarrassed now losing 5-1, 9-1, whatever the results were, but it was for genuinely for ourselves. So because we recorded since our first match, we recorded all of our games, and the lads used to ask me, edit it, you know, make a highlight, just for ourselves, or we put it on YouTube, whatever it was. But it was a constant, I mean, you do it yourself, you're watching the same clip again and again and again, you're editing the same thing, and yeah, I literally started that one day at about 6 in the, I think it was about 7 or 8 in the evening, and I didn't go to bed till about 4 or 5, I think about 6 in the morning. But there was a particular clip that I was watching, and I was trying to get the build up to the play that we did. But the start of the build up was one of the fellas next to the camera saying, "You fucking twat," and repeatedly. I remember this is what kind of, I said to you, this is what kind of put me off, because I had my wife come in the living room, and she said, all I can hear is "you fucking twat, you fucking twat," constantly. And because I zoned out of it, I was just trying to get this 1 second into the clip, cropping it, perfect timing. And yeah, I went to sleep as well that night, and I've had it, still have it now. All I can hear is and match day screaming, and it was like, all right, cool, I think I'm gonna knock this one out, because it is very, very difficult.
Obviously I know you guys edit your matches, I know Rob edits his matches, and we do as well. Not so much nowadays as we used to. But I would say it does take around about 10 hours of work to put a highlights package together.
20-minute clip.
Yeah, and we used to try and commentate on ours as well, and I used to try and get 2 people, and I generally didn't want me to go and commentate on it, or I wanted others to do it. So I used to do the highlights package, and then I used to have to wait another week to go and get 2 guys to actually get together and do the comms and bits and pieces. Then I had to go and add that in. So yeah, it just become hard work, because getting people committed to go and do it all the bits and pieces, then you rely on others, and it's that relying on others which becomes hard as such, than doing any kind of social media stuff.
100%. I think relying on others in general around this football world is difficult. I think, I mean, our players commit, your players commit so much time, and again, like, training is one thing, they turn up to training on a week, but there's so much involved during the week. I mean, we talk, because our players, let's say some of them that are lacking experience on the level side, a lot of them ask me, you know, what am I doing right, what am I doing wrong? Then after break, they kind of roll down, you know, whether they're playing right back, left back. I try not to go too hard, because you might be honest, just Saturday league, you know, I'm not going to.
Well, yeah, I know what you mean, but you want to though, don't you?
100%. The thing is, like, I remember I did a team talk once, and we were recording some of our team talks as well, because we played Britwell, which was actually one game of the season last year. We were 3-0 down, we beat them 4-3.
Yeah.
The 2 half-time team talks, one my brother, who was a skipper at the time, this one, he gave goosebumps. And
really?
I kid you not. And then I just kind of added to what he said. We came out then, there was not a single player on the pitch that wore an FC Baylis shirt that thought we were going to lose that game in that second half. And a lot of credit, if not 95% of credit, goes down to that team talk. The way he got the boys, we were 3-0 down. I remember seeing some of the boys' faces, And in my head, I said it, calm, stay calm, just tell them don't worry about it, cut game, go for the next 45 minutes, and we make sure the scoreline doesn't get worse. That was my, as they're walking off. And then my brother was like, nobody say a word. Nobody wanted to say a word anyway. They were like, beating it, we're beating the champions, the Premier Division champions, we're in Div 1, you know, mid-table. How are we going to get through this game? So some of the boys were dejected, you know, they were sat there like, done now, let's just try and get through the 45 minutes. And my brother was, for some reason, inspired and decided, I'm not losing this game today. And he literally, he took the boys by the scruff of the neck and said, we're going out there, we're men, put it all on the line. And then, I'm going to say this now because it's an old game, Vishal, our left back, took a tumble in the box, got the pen.
Oh, don't tell John. Jesus, it'd be all over you on that one.
It'd be all over you, right, actually. I mean, it looked a pen from every angle. It was only when you were after the games when he said, he touched me, that we were like, oh. That gave us that, you know, after that team talk, you've got that chance now, and that really made us think, yeah, we're definitely going to win this game. And then Harris, who was our new signing at the time, scored a cracker of a free kick. He scored a hat-trick as well that game.
Oh wow.
And we got through 4-3. And I remember John said to me, oh, cracking game, well done.
In fairness to John, he was very complimentary of you guys about that game, really complimentary. We sat and I spoke to him a couple of times regarding that game, and he was like, yeah, he don't like being beat, you know,
of course,
John don't like being beat, and he is a winner. But I think he was very gracious towards you guys.
Yeah, I think John has supported myself anyway. When we started, I'm 28, I'm very young. I've never managed, you know, I've done kids football, which is that's just like, hey, well done everyone. It's not the same as this. You know, this has real life problems. I mean, some of our players have particular backgrounds and stuff like that, which is hard. So you're dealing with 30 people at the end of the day, which is not very easy. And John sent me a message when we first started. I think it was in our second season, our first season. And it's little things like that his message was something like, what you guys are doing is amazing. You know, that makes you think, you know what, I don't know what it was, that little message really pushes you to think, you know what, actually we are doing something good here. Especially somebody that's external, that doesn't really know you, doesn't know anything about you, to kind of see that and give you that pat on the back. Especially that they were the champions of the division before that and stuff like that. So I really took that on. You know, it was a nice gesture from him. So John has been, I said it before the podcast, John has been fantastic. I think in the league in general, a lot of people are scared of playing Britwell. And I remember our first season, when he asked us to play, it wasn't when he asked us to play in our first season, my problem was, we are not ready to play the champions of the Premier Division. But they do have that kind of stigma of, we're going to get kicked here for about 90 minutes.
I remember you playing that game. It's pre-season friendly, and John was trying to get people to play against, and you guys put your hands up. And I thought, oh no.
We didn't know at the time.
And I thought, oh, this is not going to be good. And it was a bit of a battering on there, I think, was it?
In the pre-season, we actually pulled out. We lost in another game. We didn't play that game in the end because I didn't know that it was, John was Britwell.
Oh, right, okay.
So what happened was, we got the fixture, and then, I mean, we were already short on players as it was. And then, I remember saying to Akib and Mosin, oh, we've got a friendly here, it's Britwell. And Akib was like, sure. And we ended up, we had about 8 available. I mean, coincidentally, I'm not going to out nobody, but coincidentally, we only had 8 available. And we were like, John, maybe we're going to have to probably call it.
Oh, wow.
And then we arranged a friendly for the next week. We were like, lads, listen, this is probably going to, everybody's like, oh yeah, I'm available. It's probably best that we didn't play them at that time. We were too new, and I don't think we were ready for that kind of humbling. Especially they were, you know, they were champions of the Prem. I mean, we played them the week before. We beat them 4-3, and we lost. I think it was 5-4.
Oh, okay.
And they went to extra time at the ranch, and they get a bit of an atmosphere there. There's a lot of people there supporting them.
They do get to support, and I do quite honestly, I feel for John in lots of ways, because what he does is no different to what you and I do, and other people in football do. Anyway, they're trying to get all the guys together, and he does it, and he just does it really well. But he also gets the local people to back it, and they turn up. I mean, it's probably, I've seen about 100, 150 people there and more.
There's like 50 there.
Yeah. And they do normally get that kind of thing because they've got the clubhouse next to it.
Exactly, yeah.
And John does everything he can to make the atmosphere, intimidating, because why not? I would, if it was me, I could do it. I would do the same thing. So that intimidation of it. But I think the unfortunate part of it is they've got a history, and it kind of goes against them a bit. And I know I call it. I mean, talk to people about this and say I think they're kind of like pantomime.
Villains. Yeah.
And they, to a certain extent, they play to it, because the guys are a really nice bunch of guys.
What do you play to? Sorry? What do you play to that as well?
Oh, 100%, John knows that, he does it, but yeah, I hope everyone would. So, but I feel sorry for the guy, because it's not his fault.
Yeah.
But he plays the villain, but he's not.
He's a top geezer.
And then we played him twice last year, and we lucky enough we got him in the showcase games twice last year. And
the first showcase game between you lot and Denver was a cracking game, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we lost the first one. We did really well, but you can see they were a better team, and we were fairly fresh from a disappointing of moving from between the leagues. Because our first team had gone at that time. But the second game we beat them, and it was a cracking little game. There's a goal which they got disallowed, but then the photograph come back about 2 weeks later with it about that much over the line. They were going nuts.
That's the problem with the camera, isn't it?
Yeah, that is the problem with the camera. You see it, oh dear. So it is a shame about him, but you know, the guy is a great guy. I love him. And he's a good guy as well. I think he's a great asset to the league.
100%, I totally agree with you.
So, look, you guys have been going a couple of years now. You've built up a team. You've obviously got improving all the time, to be quite honest, because obviously we played each other last week, and then I think that was one of the best games we've played this year in terms of football and aggression and. Listen, we come out 5-4 winners, but if you'd have come out 5-4 winners, I think we would have no problems with that. True result would have put him in a 4-4 draw, to be quite honest. But you know, whoever got it takes it basically. So yeah, your team is up a trajectory on such like so. So we are taking notice, but there's all other little bits and pieces. And you mentioned about a youth section and such like. Is that something you're doing now, or is that something you dropped for a little while?
We lost a bit of support, so we had a lot of the boys that were supporting us with that. You know, obviously with work and stuff like that, they lost a bit of commitment. I also lost some time as well, because I started, my wife started a side business. And we sell like Islamic gifts and stuff like that. So we were looking to create a website. So I lost a bit of time there as well. And what we were looking to do in the new season, which would have been this season, was I was trying to get some of the younger lads that were 17, 18, that were looking to go into coaching, to coach the youth. And I had everything there for them. I said to them, I've got session plans. I'll be there most weeks, just not all the time, not for the whole session. And then we lost one of them, went to university. My little cousin then was also going to university, so that was 2 coaches. I lost a bit of support because of the parents, some of the kids were leaving, so I lost them as well. And it just got to a point when I was looking at it thinking, rather than this going downhill, I'll just stop it now and then try to come back to it when we're a little bit more stable. I mean, our youth team didn't do too well in the first season, but it was down to the fact that we took an under 12 team in the first season. Some of those boys had never played in a club before. Some of those, I mean, some of our players were 9, some of them were 10.
Oh right, wow.
Playing under 12s, probably get in trouble for that. And as good as they were, the boys that, I mean, our best players were the 9 and the 10-year-olds that were playing 2 years above the rates that they're supposed to. And then our 12-year-olds, I mean, some of the players were good, some of them were quite unfit and stuff like that. Like I said, never played club football before. So we were taking literally quite a bad bunch and trying our best to work with them. Results weren't ever going in our way. I mean, our best result was like a 2-2 against Burnham, and we played awesome then, missed a penalty and stuff like that. But we loved it. I loved it. I used to work for Sing Sabah a few years ago as well. I did a bit of youth work for them. I mean, that team was the opposite. They were cracking. I mean, we went on unbeaten run.
They're established, aren't they?
They're established, and I mean, they had like 200 kids turn up on a Saturday to pick players. You know, you're saying, oh, he's good, we need him. He's not, we keep him developing. We didn't really have that luxury. We had, here's the 5 that have turned up. We've got to sign the 5 up. But I did a bit of work for Berks Elite as well. I was actually doing Berks Elite and Baylis at the same time.
Oh, right, okay.
I was trying to build up Baylis, just doing Friday casual sessions, because I was sponsored Al Mifta. They're a charity. They run activities for kids. So it was actually they came to us and said to us, look, we want something. You guys do sports. We're missing sports. We want to add that to our kids, you know, because they do like a school and stuff like that. They're an institute, actually is the right word.
Yeah.
So they were like, we want to add the sports, you know. So we had a Friday session. We were supposed to, as you were saying with your sponsor, we were supposed to do a lot more work, but we haven't at the moment. Fingers crossed we will be. Yeah. But we just haven't at the moment. But we ran holiday camps. So every half term in the first year we ran holiday camps. Again, I had coaches were earning money, kids were able to have something to do. It was good. We just needed to upscale a little bit and really push it, promote it and stuff like that, which again
takes time.
Takes time. It's a learning curve as well.
So obviously you started Baylis now. You've got a fairly young club. You're still a young club in the league. And in fairness, I don't know if you know, you're the last Slough team to join this league.
I do know.
So it was 2019.
Yeah.
So, which kind of sums up a lot of things at this moment in time in grassroots football. What are your opinions about how grassroots is run at our level? And I'm asking because I know there's controversy somehow behind it, and I'm happy to talk about it. But you've come in at a time where it's probably at its worst in terms of COVID and all the other bits that held hit it, but we're down to 2 leagues, struggling bits and pieces. You know, even at the beginning of this season, the committee had a league of 211 teams, and one's now down to 8.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that? I mean, your thoughts on, well, first of all, with like the league itself. I mean, what's your thoughts on it?
It's a difficult one because in our first season, I felt the league was. I mean, Rob asked me at the end of the season how was it, and we were buzzing. But I feel personally what the league does is if there's a team that they feel is established, they kind of just leave them to their own devices, kind of thing.
Right. Okay.
Speaking to the league that's a myth in itself. You send a message, you'd be lucky to get a response. And I think that's one thing that I was quite frustrated by. In our first season, I mean, the conversations we had with the league were probably zilch. Apart from maybe a game being postponed or maybe a ref. I cannot remember speaking to Rob or Gary in my first season, you know, about anything in particular. In the second season, I started to notice a few things. I'll give you an example. So this season we've had postponements of games. I don't know if you're aware. I mean, obviously I had a big kick-off in the group, and I left the league group chat because the thing is, like, the games that were postponed. Last season we had Hearts of Bracknell fixture. Now Hearts of Bracknell pretty much already had won the league. Yeah. When we were playing them, okay, there was a few games left, but they pretty much were comfortable. They didn't have to lose a game all season, and we were struggling. We had a fixture against them. Weather was terrible. I think I could be wrong in terms of the way it worked, but either they said their pitch wasn't available, and Rob put a lot of pressure on us to put the fixture on in our ground. Now, because we're a council, we get pitch from the council, we can't get access. Yeah. After a Wednesday, if we don't ask them by Wednesday, that's it. Yeah. That's it. We've lost the access. We've got a good relationship with Jesse, who does the pitch. So if I ask her on a Thursday, there's a chance that I could get it. Yeah. But after that, there's no chance. Excuse me. There's no chance I'm getting access to the pitch. Rob putting us under loads pressure on a Saturday to play a game or lose the points. And I was a bit baffled by that because there was not much we can do. For whatever reason, there was loads of conversation went back and forth. A mutual agreement was of a postponement. But there was a lot of pressure was put on us to get the game to go ahead before the postponement. This season we've had Braywood Beavers and another team, I think Braywood twice, I think I could be wrong, and another team that have postponed. And you look at the situation of the postponements, like my understanding is you put pressure on the team to forfeit it, the game's going to go ahead. If you allow the opposition that there's going to be a chance of a game to be forfeited, it's easy to say, alright, we're not going to turn up. And we found out, there was one game we found out on a Thursday night, and there was one game we found out on a Friday. Yeah. For me, that one of the games, there was no conversation with us about the postponement. And Rob asked Braywood Beavers, do you want to postpone? They said yes, and Rob took that as, all right, we'll postpone the game. Now the big frustration for us, the reason why I had a big kick-off is that we were, at the start of every season, Rob asked us, because we observe Ramadan and we fast, majority of us are Muslims, we asked for the end of the season, well, it was in April this year, for a few weeks off because we'll be fasting. Now what it looks like to us is Rob has seen a gap in April for us and just thinking, oh, I'll postpone that game, I'll put it there. But we won't be able to physically play those, and if we are made to play those games, 95% of the squad is going to be fasting.
Yeah.
And we had that last year. The thing is, the different. I'm not going to bring it like complain about. Last year we played all wins in the semi-final. We lost 3-0. We were, I think, 14 of the 16 were fasting.
Okay.
Now that's a semi-final game. If we're not up for a semi-final game, we probably don't deserve to be in the final, whether you're fasting or not, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So for that situation, if we've got big games coming up during that period, we'll fight through it. But to postpone games and put them there that we should be playing now is going to be hard to take, because we've asked for that time off, and that was what was frustrating for me, that there was no kind of, you know, look guys, is there another option? And we actually had the pitch booked. You know, we've got the email conversation and all that. The difficult thing is, because it's so hard to speak to the league, when Rob asked Akib and Akib said it's going to be a little bit difficult,
yeah,
Rob just took that as they're not going to get the pitch.
Yeah.
Spoke to Braywood, they asked for the postponement, games postponed, we found out that on Thursday. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
We've been given no reason apart from the fact that the game's postponed. I totally understand Braywood, our injured players, stuff like that. This is Saturday grassroots football, that happens week in, week out to us. It's part and parcel of it. If you've got 11, go play the game.
Yeah.
You know, and even one of the games that was postponed, we were so sure, I think I've got it on my phone, we were so sure, I'm happy to bring it up if I need to, by the way. We were so short on players, we wanted to play. I mean, I think I had, from our 4 centre backs that I've got in the club, I had 1 available.
Yeah.
I had injuries galore. Regardless, we want to be playing football. You know, and the thing is, like, you know, we want to win every game, let's be honest. But for me, the main factor is, if we don't win, we learn. I'm learning about my team, I'm learning about the way we're playing, what we're doing wrong, and stuff like that. And it's an improvement. Don't get me wrong, this season we are our strongest, I think, in terms of our squad, player for player, stuff like that. But it's still a learning curve for us. We're not looking to win any leagues anytime soon if we're still around. You know, we had a 5-year plan when we started. We're into our 3rd season. So, you know, we've still got 2 years of that 5-year plan to play with, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
But that was for me the most frustrating thing, is that the league are, in my opinion, they're very easy to kind of throw the rule book at us, but it doesn't work the other way around, and that was my problem. And I know that they're going to give me their stats and their facts of why they're not doing that, but it generally does feel like that. And like I said, I sent Rob a message recently when I said to him, a reply would be nice. You know, whether it's the reply I want to hear or not is irrelevant.
Yeah.
But just to tell me what the situation is would be nice. But to totally blank me, which he's done in my last 10 or so messages, that is where I find that is a bit of a pee take. Now, I totally understand people are busy. I'm busy as well.
Yeah.
You've committed to something, see it through kind of thing is where my start.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one. I mean, I must admit, one of the big bugbears of most teams is communication. We're sending messages to Gary, Rob and Brian, who are the 3 guys in charge, as such, and yeah, you're probably not getting a response back as quick as you want sometimes, or
response at all.
Well, yeah, and it's kind of like, okay, I mean, one of the reasons why we, why the WhatsApp group was opened up was to hopefully address these issues as such, that you did get answers as quick as you could. I mean, I saw, because it was pretty much in all our WhatsApp groups, what happened with that Braywood game. And I kind of, if I'm honest, I kind of felt a bit sorry for both you guys and also Rob. I saw both sides of that coin. One, Rob was trying to help everyone out, and to be quite honest, by trying to help everyone, actually got it completely wrong by postponing possibly. And obviously in the meantime, there's 2 people in the, like yourself and Akeem, and I always felt there was different messages coming from
both of us.
From you both, so it was almost like there wasn't a synergy there.
Yeah.
I think if Akeem had gone to, yeah, we'll definitely play it, I'll sort it out, then it would have been probably a different outcome altogether. You would have played that game on Saturday, because I think he probably To a certain extent, yeah, maybe give it an easy out, and they took it.
Yeah.
Which would obviously, yeah, it probably did, to be quite honest. I can see why that would have felt like that, to be quite honest. So yeah, it's very difficult, but I mean, yeah, you guys have probably a genuine reason to be upset about that to some degree, I think.
And it happened twice this season already.
Well, then I'm saying that it happened again literally the following week. Yeah, like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I was thinking, oh dear, this is not going to end up good. And I know that you had a conversation with the committee over it all.
Conversation.
Yeah. And then I think the week after was obviously then our game, and that came around late as such because I just remember thinking, no, right, Rob come to me and said, you haven't got a game, front line game. And I said, look, whatever happens, we need to get it. That's okay.
That's alright. Yeah.
So Baylis need the game. I said, whatever happens, we need to make sure this happens. So if they can't get the pitch, we definitely get our pitch. Yeah. So I want to make sure that you play the game. We're like you, just want to play football.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, but and as it is, it was. It's very hard. I mean, I don't want to slate anyone in this scenario. I don't. Yes, we don't do everything as a committee well. I don't think. There's lots of improvements to be made, and I think communication is the biggest one. And I think you're right to point that out.
I think the thing is, though, in terms of that, like, I understand it's not easy. It's not easy. I used to run a 6-a-side league with my brother, Legea, in Birmingham. Hardest thing in the world.
Yeah.
You're communicating with about 10 captains, who then have to communicate to their team, and if their team then asks a question, it comes back, blah blah blah. It is not easy. It's the easiest thing to do. I just think the league currently are. The thing is, they're seeing what's hard, and they're just like kind of pushing that aside. And to be honest, I don't even know what they're doing. It's very difficult because we had issues for about 3 weeks with the league, and all after being hardly speaking the league, all kind of come at once. And I just felt the lack of communication. I mean, we had then, so when the fixture was postponed, the next week we had no game, and they put Bexley as a fixture on the Tuesday.
Yeah.
Now, Tuesday evening that was, we picked it up on the Wednesday. We actually thought we've got no game this week.
Yeah.
So our availability changed, the numbers at training changed, and even myself, my whole mood was different because we got no game this week.
Yeah.
And then somebody sent a message, our skipper sent a message saying, have we got Bexley this week? And my club set was like, no.
Yeah.
And then he was like, and he sent us the screenshot of the full time, and we were, and Akim, I remember because I literally spoke to Akim the night before. Is it definitely not a game, Akim? He said, I've asked Rob, I've asked Gary to give us a fixture. I've had no response. And again, that, if Rob responds to Akim working on it, at least Akim can say to me, working on it.
Yeah.
If he's getting totally blank, he's saying, it doesn't look like it. So we sent a message saying, guys, unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to have a game this week. We're looking to have a session on Saturday. And as you can imagine, everybody's busy.
I'm busy.
My girlfriend, my wife, and stuff like that. And then we're then sending a message saying, oh, by the way, we do have a game. And everyone was like, oh, okay. And again, I know it's not a big deal, but it actually changes your whole, because I play football a lot as well. You have a week, you're planning, Saturday got a game, I want to do this, I want to do that. You kind of prepare your week for that Saturday.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then we're telling people now, how hard is it to tell your wife? You know what I mean? Me especially, I have to say to my wife thinks I'm already obsessed with it. Yeah, exactly. And then I said to her, I've got a game on the 26th, and she was like, oh, excellent. And I was like, oh, by the way, I've got a game. And she was like, you're lying. Sure, we're going out. And it's stuff like that I wish the league just put a little bit more time into the teams. I mean, I remember when we first started, the league was like, we're going to do like catch-ups with the teams and stuff like that. And I remember saying, oh, this is fantastic. That was 2 seasons ago. We've not had one catch-up with the league ever, apart from a phone call from Rob at the end of our first season to see if we were staying in the second season.
Oh, okay.
Other than that, I used to work with Rob as well, actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
oh,
I used to work with him. So I remember first time I met him, we had some issues as well there. Rob supported us through that. He was a lovely guy. I've got nothing against him. Even Brainwood, I think it's Jack, the manager.
Jack, yeah, good guy, yeah.
Jack, I apologise for some of the voice messages that I send you. There was nothing, but I was quite angry that he could tell that. And it's nothing personal to him. I did say that it's nothing personal to you, Jack. It's just the whole situation really frustrated me. And I felt that he was also looking, because he got the easy out, he was like, we'll crack on with that. Again, I don't know, I'm just making assumptions. I don't know him personally, so it's not fair to say that. But just from what it looked like, you know, if I was in his position and Rob is giving me the postponement, I'd probably be like, yeah. But like I said, it didn't work that way for us, and that's what my frustration was like. You know, why are we not being consoled? Why is no conversation happening with us? Why are we just being told, there you go, game's postponed, get on with it? That was my frustration.
Yeah, no, I can see your frustration. I can honestly do. I thought it was a real hard one for Rob, and to be quite honest, for me, I just kind of thought, well, it was almost like let the club sort it out first of all, then go from there.
Exactly.
And I think Rob come with very good intention to help.
Well, I thought that's what it was supposed to be, the clubs. I've got to read, because I've seen a message from Alan Higgs about that. I remember maybe last season, I can't remember who it was, but somebody said, what do we do in this scenario? And Alan said, you've got a reverse fixture, you two deal with it. If need be, we'll get involved. But that never happened at all.
Yeah. It's difficult. I mean, obviously, I think as I mentioned before we started, this is I joined the committee because of our everyone's saying how rubbish it was. And I just thought, oh, okay, look, if it's that bad, let's have a look. I mean, it's pretty easy to go and slate something you don't know.
Exactly, yeah.
So I thought, well, okay, now have a look. Now, you know, as I mentioned earlier on, when I walk into the room and I'm in my 50s and I'm the youngest one there, you then kind of see where the issues are. There's no relationship between guys who are in their 20s playing football to guys who are in their 60s and 70s and 90s at the time, you know, running a football league. They can't, you know, be that. So I think that's one of the biggest issues, and I think that's one of the big issues which I think the teams have to accept, that they need to probably, if you want to run a league,
probably get involved.
Yeah, I know, and it is that, to be quite honest. And I would say I get involved. I mean, I'm not there every meeting, but I go as often as I can because it is interesting to just see what's going on and what's happening. I would say join it, mate, to be quite honest. But also, it's probably worth talking to other people within the league. You've got Rob, you've got Gary, you've then got others. I mean, there's two people in the league that run a football team, that's Ricky and myself. So sometimes probably, in fairness, I know Keith has in the past. We have spoke, and he's asked me questions, and obviously tried to get back to him as quick as we could. But yeah, we can always point you in the right direction and go from there. So there is help out there, but not always obvious.
I mean, you say that like Akib spoke, because Akib was telling me to speak to you, not regularly, but he's spoken to you before, and he had great words to say, because I never obviously met you. And he was like, oh, Darren's the top guy, if you need anything, speak to Darren and stuff like that. But John, when we're talking about John has actually kind of, that's what I'm saying, he's been that way. I've sent a message, he's private messaged me, kind of told me what's good to do, and you know, kind of giving me some advice and stuff like that. So I totally agree. I think, but this is something that I wanted to talk about a little bit as well, because I think what the biggest problem I have is, one is the referees are so distant to the teams, and I'll go on to that as well. But the teams within the league as well, I find when we started, one thing Akib, I remember telling me as well, when we used to send a message, we had a template of a message to send to people. Such a nice message, by the way. And he would get very blunt responses back from this message, from teams that we were playing. The message was something like, hi guys, good morning or good afternoon, how you guys doing? I'm Akib from FC Baylis, I'm the club sec. We've got a game with you this weekend, we're really looking forward to the fixture. We wear this, can you tell us what colour you wear? Kick off is this, change will be open at this time. And he would get things like thumbs up or a yes.
I can't be guilty of that, so I'm not going to.
The thing is, when that happened, I said to Akib as well, I said, well, people are probably at work. But then it was a case of him calling people and people being quite blunt with him, and Akib is, you've spoken about, has a loveliest guy in the world. And I think even that was maybe when this communication, because I'm quite blunt and cynical, and Akib is quite understanding and open, and that's why he does what he does, and not why. Rather than the other way around. So he was giving a lot of time to people, and he was saying, I remember the conversation he said to me, I'm a bit frustrated. I was like, why? This guy, I'm trying to talk to this guy, and he's just giving me these arsey responses. And I kid you not, Akib, like I say, is the nicest guy in the world. He wouldn't know if you were being rude to him. You know what I mean? He wouldn't understand, he wouldn't take that. And he was getting frustrated. And I remember saying to Aki, look, yeah, just if they're doing that, send them that message back. Game, 2 o'clock, see you then. Simple. So we started to do that as well. And I remember I used to go up to other gaffers and I'd be like, all right guys, and they would be like, yeah. And I understand it's a game day, I totally understand that, but for me, at the end of the day, we're humans. The first thing that we do, we've all paid to be here. A handshake and a gesture would be nice. I mean, now, as rude as it sounds, a lot of teams might think, my rule is I don't speak to an upper manager, I don't go shake no hands or none of that, because the way that they've made me feel has made me kind of come up with that and say, don't bother. I said to the boys at the end of the game, shake hands. I said, you don't need to talk, you don't need to say nothing. And at the end of a lot of games, the boys shake hands, but I literally just grab the stuff and I say to them, get the nets down, let's crack on. And that's because of, as you said, we were a brand new team when we entered, and it seemed like that's the way everybody is. We don't really have, we're not open arms, and that was another big problem. That's why I don't really ask any other managers or anything like that. I mean, I speak to some Matt from Phoenix. I don't know if you know the Phoenix. Lovely guy I've spoken to in a long time, and he's not even in our league. And you know, because they try to always organise friendlies with them. And again, his messages are always, how you doing? Everything okay? I see you got a free week. Would you like a friendly? And you're happy to respond, even if the answer is no. I'm like, hi man, how you doing, mate? You alright? Everything good? You know, how's your weekend? I've never met. I don't know what Matt looks like, you know. But the fact that he sends a message like that, and that's what I'm talking about. I think the league isn't very welcoming. The teams aren't very welcoming. There's a few, without a shadow of a doubt. But I think also there's a few people within the teams like yourself at Stoke. I don't know the Stoke that, so I'm not going to. But yourself at Stoke, Poges, that make a bit of an effort. Is John at Britwell that make an effort. But the teams on the other hand is you know, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, it's again, it's a hard one, isn't it, to be quite honest, because sometimes I know the guys who run our team. I wouldn't say they're shy, but obviously they're not outgoing in that way, maybe. Scott, in fairness, especially when he comes here, he tries to make an effort to make sure he sees people and such like. And we kind of, over the years, you get to know people as well. I mean, we've been a club for 30 odd years at this moment in time, as we are now. So yeah, myself and others, you know referees, you know whatever basically, and you see them come and go. In fairness. So yeah, in lots of ways you do try and find out who. Well, I try and find out who people are. Don't know all of them, and this is part of doing this. To be quite honest, there's lots of things that we don't know about other teams. Like, I didn't really know too much about yourselves. Didn't know much about yourselves. In fairness, I think the games that we have played against you, for whatever reasons, I wasn't around. So last week when we played you, it was one of the first times that I got to see you guys in the flesh. And it was good. I mean, like I say, it was an enjoyable game. So that's the number one part of it. You guys all seem to be a nice bunch of guys on the pitch, just as much off it. Which is sometimes hard because obviously you try to kick people and you try to do whatever, but you all reacted the right way. I haven't said there was a little bit pushing and shoving, but nothing I would say that was outrageous in any way. And I think the referee probably had a fairly easy game to manage, in fairness.
Still managed to do something anyway.
But and I think I know what you're going to say next, to be quite honest, but referees is like...
I was going to, I mean, to be honest, what I find is a lot of the teams that play us always do actually end a bit like, oh, you guys are... But we are labelled, or we've been painted with this brush of being a bit naughty and a bit starting trouble and stuff like that. And an incident, the pushing and shoving we're talking about, what's your gaffer's name? Is it Scott? Scott. So when, I mean, and by the way, it's a fantastic tactic. Your left, you guys changed the left back and your midfielder. You put on the 16, I'm not sure what his name was.
For sure, yeah.
He come on and he stopped us playing football. I've got no problem with him kicking and stuff. We do the tactic as well. We got one fella that shit's not going right, chuck him on, stop them from playing football. Lovely tactic. My problem was the ref needs to stop after the 5th foul. The ref's got other word. That's my first initial problem. In terms of just slowing it down, because he should have been sent off. Again, it's an argument, he got booked for that tackle, it was a nasty one. But when the pushing and shoving that happened, what really frustrated, I was quite angry, and it's something I want to talk about, was Scott said to me, your boys started that. And I was baffed. And what the problem is, a lot of teams have this on us where they say, you guys started it. And the 16 Sean followed our fella, number 77, from the left wing all the way to the right wing, kicking him, pulling his shirt. I got no problem with that. Fouled him. And when he's fouled him, my lad's got up, he's gone in his face and given him the chest and the push. And then our boys have ran on the pitch. Shouldn't happen. Without a shadow of a doubt, our boys are not on the pitch, they should not be getting involved. Where we're so young, and a lot of the boys are friends and best friends and cousins and stuff, they react stupidly. And the thing is, we actually internally discipline those boys. They get fined, they get dropped for a week, whatever the situation needs to be. That one wasn't too bad, so nothing really came from it. But then Scott said to me, that was your lot's fault. And I was so confused, saying, but your guys fouled my guy from left wing to right wing, and then got in his face afterwards. How is that our fault? We've reacted to something that's happened, and that is when, again, I think we've always been paid. That's your fault, and it's happened. The league have told us as well how much trouble we've started.
Oh really?
Yeah, and
oh wow.
And we've been. I mean, our first season we got fined nearly £250 for one incident where our fella got attacked by the pundit goalkeeper. Our fella got punched in the face for absolutely no reason. Then reacted. We got fined £250.
Right, but you film the games, don't you?
Every single game. Yeah.
So
we sent the clip to the league.
And oh wow, okay. You're not the first person that's gone against. I've seen where I'll come back to the other bit in a second. The hype train had someone on the sideline, and I can't remember if he punched or headbutted him. I think he punched him. Someone on the sideline, a player from another team, not going to mention who it was, went up and basically headbutted him, I think it was, and knocked his teeth out. And it was really nasty, and it's all caught on camera. And nothing was done about it. I find that quite frustrating on my part, that nothing was done against that. And I think that, again, because again the film helps, they had another one where someone got punched, and they've sent that in, and nothing got done again with that. And I got frustrated with that, because I kind of think, well, that's not right, it's happened. You know, to do that. In terms of obviously what happened last week, I didn't realise Scott had said what he said, in fairness.
You were on the other side.
Yeah, I was on the other side of the pitch. Wouldn't condone it, but what I would say is that I think in the heat of the battle, you come out with stuff and you kind of regret saying that. I think Scott would probably regret saying that to somebody. I mean, I would have. And again, we're all the nicest guys in the world when we're off the pitch. We come on all kits when we're playing football. I mean, I certainly was. I was horrible, to be quite honest. And
I can be as well.
Yeah, we all can be. We always got this like trigger. I mean, it's totally not in our character. Any night all the time except playing football. Or it's anything to do with football, and you kind of think, crikey, this out of character. And so that's the problem. Sometimes you've got to kind of look at it and go, is that the character? Is that the 5 minutes? And sometimes you'll get so frustrated, I've just seen you, like, well, I'm going to blame you. And it's like, I'm going to blame you for a problem, and it comes obviously as it is. And you're right, it's probably, if he's gone, as he said, across the pitch and kicked him all the way, and somehow someone's telling you, hey, well, that's your fault. Like, why is that my fault? I would feel the same way, and I would feel no different. But then again, I've always done that when I played football. If something happened and it's my fault,
you blame someone.
I would be all over someone else, because it kind of deflects where your anger actually is. He was probably angry with Sean about doing that because he gave away a foul. So I don't know. I mean, obviously I can't speak for the actuals, but sometimes that's how we do it, basically. And it's obviously then how we take that to be, you know, was it just something that was just said in the heat of the moment, which I think it was. Scott, as I do, I think it would have been. And it's how we all take it afterwards. I mean, after the game, I won't go into what happened in that game, basically, and why we got angry over it all. But
the ref giving us the extra.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about it. But we do have a situation where after that game last week, I didn't see any malice between the two teams. It's a great friend, and to be honest, that's what you want.
Yeah, well, I spoke to Scott after the game anyway.
Yeah,
it was a great game. He said you guys have improved so much stuff. He wasn't trying to be patronising. You said it to us as well.
And it's hard sometimes because you're in that situation. You just want to fight for. You're obviously elated. And you genuinely, and I genuinely thought, but you're good side and you didn't deserve to lose it. And I said that to you. I said, But it does come across sometimes patronising.
Especially after.
Yeah, that's hard. But there's no other time to say it.
Yeah,
You can't say 10, 15, 20 minutes late because you're generally out of the ground.
Yeah, 100%. To be honest, I think when we played Charlevy in our first season, one of the fellas in Charlevy, I don't know his name, he came up to us in the changing room afterwards. We had a cracking game and then we lost, I think it was 3-2 or something, and he came in and said, "You lads got a bright future." I remember him walking out and everyone was like, "What kind of bullshit is that?" I don't want to hear that. And I remember saying, "Lads, calm it down." Yeah, he had no reason, he didn't have to do that. You know, he's coming, he's actually said, "You know what, lads, well done. Yeah, cool, they won. But we're brand new here. If they're telling us that in our first season, imagine what we've been on the second, third season." Truly, we actually used that, and the next time we played, we beat them. I don't think we lost against them once in a cup game, but in league, we were beating them quite regular.
Yeah.
And I said to him, you know, don't take that as, "Oh, who do they think they are?" Take it as, you know what, they're right actually, we're a baby club, we're working our way up, and people are starting to notice us. Use that, don't take it as a negative kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think that's what's out there at the moment. I think clubs are looking at you and thinking, "Oh wow, you've done the good," and you have. Well, I'll say it now. I think what you've done has been superb, to be quite honest. How you've taken it, how you embrace the social media side of it, you're doing the Instagram bits and pieces, and you're trying to take it forward. And it's good, and it all looks positive from outside in, basically. And again, I think other clubs are looking at that thinking, "Oh well, they're doing really well for themselves," because it's very hard to get players, and you've grown. I mean, where you were to where you're growing and growing, and you seem to be going the right way. So I'll never, definitely, if anyone does come up to you after a game and says, "Well done," especially if you lost, I think they generally mean it because they don't have a chance to say it any other time.
No, 100%. I mean, like I said, for me, I don't. The thing is, because I started the club, and a lot of people say to me, you said as well, "Are you the gaffer?" A lot of people say, "Are you the gaffer?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh, okay." Because I think you generally associate an older fella with a club or I mean, if you look at our club, we lack a lot of experience from every single angle, from admin side of it, from the management side of it, from the squad side of it. Our oldest player is 31.
Yeah,
you know, which is not old. You know what I mean?
Not really, no.
You know what I mean? You know, I'm 28. I started this at 26. So we, again, like I said, I knew what we were looking to achieve, but everything we had. I mean, my dad was supposed to be manager, chairman, supporting, not really fully there, but supporting because he's got the experience and stuff. Like that. But with grandkids and stuff like that, and I think also he came from a different generation where, what I'm saying, when I grew up playing football, you're getting it. if you at right, 15, 16, you're being told.
You put it on people.
You put it on people. And I think also when I grew up, there was big characters in dressing rooms. You know, playing against us, within the changing rooms that we had, big characters. I don't think the football world is like that anymore. It's a lot about kind of how good you look. You know, and I remember saying to Sean, the fella that came on 16, like, we need two of them. We need somebody that's happy to put his foot in. You know, I don't mean any disrespect to him. And
no.
I mean, he got the assist for the goal. He stopped us from playing football. But we don't quite have that at the moment. We don't have somebody who's a raw ball winner, somebody that doesn't want to put his foot there, doesn't want to stop in a game. We don't really have that. We don't have somebody that can manage the game in certain scenarios on the pitch as well. Calm it down. I mean, we were 4-3 up and our skipper decided to go in the box for a corner. And at that moment, you'd rather him say, sit off, get a midfielder back here with me as well. We're 4-3, we need a bit of a breather. Let's not make the game excitable. That's one thing that we do, is we make the game excitable, which I wish sometimes we guys...
It's experience. It's experience.
It is, and that's what we really get. If there was because I remember when I was playing, I remember a particular game I got man of the match. We played against Wrexham. I hit the ball, I ended up scoring, and I remember one thing that got us, so we won 3-2 that game, was my midfield partner at the time, who was about 35, 36, played football as well. I remember at one point we had a throw-in, and he screamed at us, drop off, slow down. Those were the 2 words he said. And I remember everyone thinking, okay, why am I rushing to take this throw-in? It's like 10 minutes on the clock. Why are you rushing to get the ball? Have a breather, think about the situation. And then everybody, I remember we kept the ball a lot, gave away so many fouls, kept hoofing the ball out, and we won. And there was things like that where we're not ready for that yet. At the moment, if we're 3-2 up and we got thrown, our left back's running for the ball, and everyone's saying, calm down, you know. It's things that we do make the game too excitable at this moment in time.
Yeah, but that's also because you guys enjoy playing football, simple as that.
100%,
You can't come. I mean, what was your thoughts on last week's referee little blunder? I mean,
Well, Lawrence knows I'm one of his good friends. You know what, to be honest with you, so Rob, who works within the club, was actually friends with Larry outside of football, Lawrence. So
Okay.
Larry, not Lawrence.
Yeah.
They know each other. I remember the first time Rob was like, oh, that's my mate. And I was like, him? And the reason why, I've got nothing against Lawrence, I don't know him personally. What I'm saying, I mean, Alan Higgs done the same thing to us when he turned up. You cannot attend a game as a ref, you're the man in the middle, with this kind of ego. You know, you put the two teams, you push them aside, and it's all about you. They can tell us it's not that, but that's the only kind of, you know, opinion I've got from what I've seen from them. I mean, having said that, Alan, when we started, was fairly good to us and stuff like that. But I'll go into that in a second. But Lawrence, we've had Lawrence for a long time. Now, Lawrence, the first time he met us, thought we were somebody else.
Right.
Which we weren't. I don't even know who we were. And I think that put him on the back foot with us.
Okay.
Because whatever experience he had with who he thought we were, he thought, oh, it's the same guys. And I remember him saying something to my skipper. My skipper was like, oh, so I don't know who you are. And I was like, oh, you don't remember me from? And he was like, no, I haven't played football in about 10 years, to be honest with you.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that started, but Lawrence thought he was just pulling his leg, and he was convinced that we were whoever he thought we were. And we played a friendly against the team. We paid our fees, the opposition ran away, literally shot off, even though I said to the gaffer, you got to pay 20 quid to Lawrence. Lawrence then tried to hold me hostage and say, you owe me £20, which I laughed.
Oh, right, okay.
And I said to him, no. And his response was, this is what really got me wound up, was I said, Don, should I give you £20? He said, yes. I said, why am I going to give you another £20? He said, well, I know those fellas, and they're good guys. Was his response to why I should give him the £20 for the other team. And I said, well, if you know those fellas, why don't you ring the fella and tell him to pay you the money he owes you.
Yeah.
I've paid you £20, I'm not giving you no more. Especially after the shocking performance you had in the friendly. And that was the start of when we realised we're not going to have much luck with him. I mean, he's sin binned our one player 3 times. You know, and it's stuff like that. It just seems like when he has us, I mean, we complained about him to league. I totally understand the league can't pick up refs willy nilly. If he's assigned to us, he's assigned to us. Now we don't really care, we get on with it. But every single game we've had with him in charge, it's become about him. I mean, he gave us a goal, and if it wasn't for the fella that was recording the match, there was somebody from the league, wasn't there, who told him it was 4-4, he would have given us the 5th goal.
Yes, just so everyone's aware, what happened last week, and what you're alluding to, is that probably in the last 10 minutes of the game, I think it was, one of the Stoke Poges, we were playing yourselves, Baylis, last week, and one of the Stoke Poges players, I don't know how the conversation started, but asked the referee how long and what's the score, yeah, sorry, something like that happened. At which point the referee said 10 minutes and it's 5-4 to Baylis. And he's gone, no it's not, it's 4-all, which it was.
Yeah, it was.
And despite the fact that, in fairness to your boys, they're all saying, no, ref, it's 4-4. And other people were saying it was 4-4. No, the only person that was, and he was mucking about as fun as you like, was Rob. You go, no, ref, it's 5-4.
Yeah.
Which I thought was hilarious, by the way. But he's the only one that actually said, but everyone else said, no, it's 4-4, ref. We're recording it. I was watching filming it.
Cameras in.
So we've got 3 cameras there, and then the guy on the side. And he wasn't having any of it. And to be quite honest, I'm not sure what happened, but we all huddled in the middle, and I'll probably put this kind of footage in, to be quite honest. And I had to calm everyone down. I was like, guys, and you'll hear me shout, guys, just to go and get their attention. And they always walk off the football pitch.
Yeah, I remember.
And I basically said, look, yeah. I said, look, can't walk off the football pitch. Let's play the game and we can sort this out afterwards. I said, what we do is that we put a result in, as long as you guys put the same results in, then there's an argument to be had, basically. And then we can show the proof afterwards.
Yeah, simple.
So that was how everyone's like, oh, okay, so he's kind of getting back. And then all of a sudden you see him walking across the football pitch, and I'm like, what's he doing? Then this is after we actually were ready to go and start again. And he's gone over and he said something to the guy on the side of the pitch. Now, the guy on the pitch is a guy called Steve Bullard.
Yeah, we watch his videos.
Yeah, he does videos, he just goes around Groundhog, a really nice guy.
Yeah.
And does fantastic footage of all our games.
He does, actually.
and he's gone over to him. He's obviously had a conversation with him, and then changed his mind. And I thought, oh, okay. Now, there were a few other things that happened in that as well, and I don't know if you want to say about it.
Yeah.
Actually, you talked
about the 16 coming back on after he sent him off.
Yeah, tell everyone what happens.
Well, he was abused by the 16, or whatever the 16 called him, a cheat or whatever he called him. He sent him off, and then once he realised he got the score wrong, he put him back on. Now my problem was, you got the score wrong, but he still swore at you.
I didn't know what he said, I'll be honest with you. On the footage, I'm walking up, and it was all going off in front of me, but I stood off, because I didn't want to get too involved. So I thought, just everyone. I saw you stand where you were anyway. And then I walked in just after he sent him off, and I didn't know what was said, but I didn't realise that was what was said. But then he did rescinded the card. And that's where I was baffled. Especially that player then got the assist for the winner. Oh, did he? Oh, I didn't know that either. Oh, wow. And that's why, because it was a cracking game also. It was difficult for us to take, not just because of that, because I thought, like I said, we played fairly well. Yeah. And we made probably 2 big mistakes to allow you guys back in the game. And then that happened, and it was like, you've sent him off for something he said. You can't say, oh, he didn't say that. Could he said that because you got the score wrong, but he still swore. You can't allow him back on. If they said, if he turned around and said, all right, 10 minutes, it would have been understandable. If he said, do a sub, it would have been understandable. And this is what my problem with Lawrence is that he's in his own world. He doesn't give a toss about any of the teams. He's in his own world. And then when he's baffled like that and he's lost it now, he doesn't know what to do. To put the fella back on, I think that was when he was like, all right, this is... Just so you're aware, we've actually put a complaint about that. Oh, not the whole story. To some degree, I'm glad we won, but it makes it easier to put a complaint in when you win. Because it's not sour praise. Exactly, about it, because it's not something that should happen. And I feel, and I think I put in the letter, I felt a little bit sorry for Lawrence because he's obviously made a mistake, but yeah, I don't know what changed his mind. I really honestly don't. I don't know why he got led to see Steve and why he's changed his mind, but yeah, he did. I think the reason why I don't feel sorry for him in some situations is because, I mean, he doesn't listen ever. It's difficult to... No, he didn't listen to us. Something happened, I don't know what, because it's off the camera. I looked at the footage and it's off the camera, he's going walking across. We've got that, he's speaking to Steve, you said Steve Pollard, yeah? Yeah, he went to speak to Steve, but he's gone from one side of the pitch to the other to go and talk to him, and I don't know what's prompting him to do that, because like I say, we kind of had the huddle with me in the middle of it all. I told the guys that we need to play the game out and see it out, see what happens. And then we were ready to play. Yeah, at 5-4. I remember Scott was saying to me, and you sent a text. I said, listen, Scott, we don't win by default on none of this nonsense. We're putting in the correct. And also we spoke. So I don't know what prompted him to go there, which is probably need to find out. But yeah, listen, if it had been the other way around and that had happened and you guys didn't come, I'd question, I have a grievance with it, to be quite honest. But hence the reason I kind of put the complaint in. I'm not sure if it's if you can do that. I don't know. It's in the rules. I've seen things rescinded, obviously with VAR and things, so I'm guessing you can do. I don't know. I was a bit. When I saw it happen, I thought, oh, okay, didn't realise you could do that, but there you go. Yeah, it was baffling to me. I mean, in all honesty, I mean, you said about putting complaints in. One of our biggest problems when we started was that we wouldn't complain about issues, and we had major issues. I mean, I don't want to go too much into it, but certain abuse that we had and a lot of fights that happened, and a lot of times I would say to the lads, it's character building. And in hindsight, it's probably the wrong way to look at it, but I would say to the lads, it's character building. I said, imagine now when we beat this team, we'll tell them, oh, you were right about what you said to us the last time. We should be playing a different sport, but we beat you at your own. I said, I'd rather do that than come and, oh yeah, do you know who I am? Do you know if nobody cares? Yeah, let's be honest, nobody gives a shit. Yeah, but winning the 3 points against this team again, that's a bigger feeling because they've got to deal with that all week now. And that's a bigger victory for me. I don't care about this fighting stuff. Even the team that punched our fella, they couldn't beat us after that, and we beat them last season.
and we celebrated. I remember we ran on the pitch, and they couldn't do it. They had to watch us, you know.
Yeah.
And that for me is such a better feeling than, you know, somebody called me the C word and I'm gonna punch him in the face, and it doesn't achieve anything. In fact, I'm in bigger trouble and I look like a bigger so-and-so, than what he called me. You know what I mean? And it's about, and that's what I used to say to the boys. I say, take on the chin, yeah? We lost, we come back stronger, and when we remember this team, we make sure we get the 3 points. And then we'll tell them that all those words you called me, you were absolutely right. I'm terrible at football. I am a so-and-so, and you know, this and that, I am playing the wrong sport. Yeah, but why did we win? You know, and that's kind of what. But that was a big problem, because I remember Aki, when we were speaking within the club and saying, look, we need to start making a bit more noise about these incidents that are happening. It falls on deaf ears, Darren. Honestly, I'd probably get more sense talking to one of these t-shirts than I would be putting a complaint in the league. And actually, we put in a couple of complaints. So when that incident happened against Pandit, when our fellow got attacked, we were going through the complaint process. The next week, an incident happened, which you could argue was our fault against Charlby, but that was off the back of my guys getting attacked the week before. The following week, my players were on edge. Yeah. And I remember them saying to me, were you happy for us to get attacked? What do you want us to do? We're going to be a bit more, you know, up for it, if you like. Yeah. And some of the lads were like, yeah, I'm going to make sure if somebody wants to, I'm kicking off first. And I remember saying to them, no. There's not so much we can do. You know, we're not on the pitch with them. No. And I remember the league then, this was what really hurt as well. So when we're talking about league, so we put the complaint against Pandit, which we had nothing back. The following week, we're being told, you guys did this. And it was like, whoa, wait a minute, can we talk about this incident? Oh yeah, you're getting fined for this incident. That's being investigated. It's like, can you not see that this occurred because of that? Can you not put the two and two together? And if you do that, and you rather take it out of context and say, oh, you fought this week, we're fining you, but why? Can we not have a meeting? Can we not speak to the team and say certain things are not tolerated, or is it just a case of we'll throw a fine out, hope for the best, and hopefully next week it won't happen? And it was those incidents that I had major problems with the league, that they're not dealing with it. My guy's been attacked for free, by the way. The ball came into the box, goalkeeper's caught it. Just as he's catching it, my guy's trying to header it. Keeper's caught it, he's got his head in the air, he's landed, he's looked up, bang. There was nothing said. And we've got all the footage, we sent the clips to the league. There was nothing said, it was so unprovoked, it was unreal. You know, and it's just incidents like this, like I said, I don't really want to dwell on Arkana KLS, because we go back now, those teams probably can't get anywhere near us no more. And that for me is a win. But if the league deal with it properly, again, when we ran that 6-side, it's totally different, I totally appreciate it. But we had a kick-off, and one of the teams, they were the best team in the league, nobody could beat them. And they were bullying one of the new teams. One of the guys slapped him. We said, yeah, get off, pack your shit, get out of it. We've got no time for that. You can't be doing that in our league. That's not what we want to be known for. But grassroots, unfortunately, known for fighting, because nobody's taking charge, nobody's saying, do you know what, there's certain things that we don't tolerate. You know, again, as a majority Asian Muslim team, we've had that experience as well, don't we? You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'd love to say racism doesn't exist now, but it does. It does do that. I mean, I've been part of it. I mean, I'm of an Anglo-Indian background. Also, yeah. So it's basically, when I was younger, especially, not nowadays, but definitely when I was younger, I've got a lot of it. But it's still there. Someone called me something not so long ago, and I can see it in their face. They were like, "Oh shit, I shouldn't have said that." But it, you know, it still happens. So yeah, it's difficult, and obviously you then feel like set aside and picked on, to be quite honest. And it shouldn't be like that. It should be inclusive. I mean, we've got some great teams who have got you know, different ethnic backgrounds in terms of. You've got KS Griff for starters, you know, the Polish guys there. You then got Team Zaba, which are not with us anymore, and you've got Frontline yourselves. And I think that's great. But you then look at, there's also a mixture of ethnicities in all those teams, English guys and such like playing from as well, which is what it should be about. It's such a big subject. I wouldn't like to start it out. I don't think it's something for this. But yeah, no, I can see why you guys will feel frustrated over all that, to be quite honest. Anyway, moving forward. Let's move forward. Be negative about all this stuff.
What are the plans for Baylis?
So I mean,
you mentioned a 5-year plan.
Yeah. So
halfway through it.
Halfway through it. Yeah. When we started, there was a 5-year plan of. So we're a footballing side. I'm obsessed with playing football, like the Man Cities, the Liverpool's, pressing and stuff like that. So we're trying to achieve that. I think we're getting closer to achieving that. But we want to be winning at least one division in those 5 years.
Yeah.
And at least one cup competition is the plan in those 5 years. Building a brand, being known around the area, especially having local support in Slough. I'm not big on a reserve team at all. I just want one very competitive first team.
Oh wow, okay.
If I could
surprises me that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a conflict of interest we're having within the club at the moment, where some people are quite big on having a reserve team because of certain players we've got. You guys run a reserve team, or used to run a reserve team.
Yeah.
If you've got 50 consistently at training, you can run a reserve team. But when the numbers fluctuate, I don't think it works. Also, when I was part of Falcons with the first team and reserve team, either the reserve team is really neglected because obviously the first team has priority, or people rather play for the reserve team because there's less pressure and stuff like that. I just found, from my experience, if you have a really competitive first team, make that as best as you can. I feel you get back, and with Saturday League, you're never going to have the same 16 week in, week out.
Yeah,
this is just the way it works. So why not have a very competitive first team, and then have youth systems all the way down from under 7s to under 16s or under 15s, and then turn the 16-year-olds into the first team. That was the 5 to 10 year plan, but that 5-year plan is to win at least one league, one division, one cup competition, grow the brand, grow the name, and have a very, very competitive first team. Was the plan for 5 years.
Fantastic. You mentioned brand, and something that Robert Hightrain used to mention a lot, brand. Obviously we do something called Ultimate Level, which is what this goes out on, so it's kind of a brand as such.
Yeah.
Is that essentially what you're looking at? Is obviously you have Baylis or FC Baylis as a brand out there in the social media world?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, because the majority of our players are young, social media is kind of what they grew up on, and as I said, because FC Dons were a big inspiration for us as well, we are looking at that, not emulating, but similar in terms of, we have some kind of social media presence, our games are on YouTube. And the thing is, you guys probably have it as well, on a Saturday, the amount of laughs, even certain players, the things they say, some of the stories about the night before. Okay, yeah, we don't want to expose everybody because some stories are a bit kept on a shady, but some of the things, I mean, our players have such personality. The problem is when you get the camera out, a lot of them, they change, but they've got such a great personality in terms of, so funny that if you did put that onto YouTube, it could be,
it could be very funny.
It could be funny. I mean, the one thing that the SC Dons do is that they put a personality to the club. Their players, the players are the ones that play. Let's get to know the players a little bit more, and that is when that brand, if you like, kind of is built. For me, I want my brand to be in Slough more than anything, where people are. I mean, look, if there's a game, Stoke Poges against Baylis, you've got 150 people there. Even in the park, you've got 60, 70 people there. I think that would be massive for the EPFL and grassroots in general. So it's more about that really. We want to make noise about grassroots. Being from Baylis, the Baylis area all my life, I don't live there anymore, I live in Langley, but I still represent Baylis. I wanted that because I remember, my wife's not nice, but I remember as a youngster, because I was a bit annoying, I remember I say to my wife, I'm going to have, just as a joke, I'm going to have Baylis tattooed on my chest. I love it that much.
Oh wow.
And now I've actually got it.
You got it, yeah.
And it was things like, that's our area, I've grown up there. I remember being in the park, all my friends, all of that stuff. We want to have a pitch in the park. Why the hell they don't give us that, I don't know. That would be the ultimate dream. So we are looking at doing loads of work within Slough. But where I grew up in, a lot of my friends were selling dough, going into that kind of side of life. I mean, my 3 best friends, they own businesses and stuff like that. But the closest friends I have are all going the wrong side of life. And I'm lucky that I had football to push me away, because I remember even on, like when we played games Saturday, comes to the Friday night, the Saturday night, my lads that are going out, yeah, I might go out with them, but I'm thinking I've got a game on in the morning.
So that helped you.
Do you know what I mean? It stopped me where there was a cut-off, where some of the boys, which especially now the kids, they don't have that barrier or cut-off.
Yeah.
They're trying to be badder than the guy before, and with me I was like, yeah, cool, I want to be a naughty kid and whatever. I still want to play football on a Saturday, you know what I mean? I do like that, running around and putting my kit on. So yeah, I messed them up, but then I'd have a cut-off, midnight, 12, 1 o'clock, I'm going home, because I've got to get up early on
Saturday. That's a big discipline.
And discipline is what the football brings, and I think one of the reasons why we started the club, because my cousins, there was a lot of stabbings that were happening in Slough, and then I'm speaking to him, and my cousin saying, "Here's my mate. Oh, I'm in school with him. Oh, I went out with him. I was with him the other," and that scared me a little bit. I've got kids of my own, and I'm thinking, I don't want my cousin to be out, and then just because he's out and he's with somebody, an incident happened. So I kind of said to him, "We're going to go play football now. You know, now you're busy, you're occupied. You got to get yourself a little bit more fit. So now you're going to take pride in yourself. You're just going to start." And a lot of them go gym. They at least do workouts. I mean, we get videos sent, whether they're real or not, who knows, of like a fella going for a jog, and they'd be like, "What are you doing in the morning, boys? I'm going for a jog." Like I said, we turn out genuine. We turn out genuine it is, because he might just be, you can't turn it up in the car. But it really has, and I mean, what we've created, the unity we've created now. I mean, a lot of the boys that didn't know each other. There is a lot of boys that did know, but there's like some of the signings we did this year that have come in that didn't know anybody. Feeling at home, you know, they've now got their own little friend groups and they go gym together, you know, stuff like that. A lot of the boys, we've had boys that were previously smoking and stuff that have stopped. So it's all that kind of stuff that the club brings, and if you feel some sense of belongingness, it can really help you
absolutely
grow, and especially at the ages of, you know, 16, 17, where they're tender ages, and you either go this way or that way. And we're just saying, look, come here. You know, we don't restrict
them an option.
Exactly.
Absolutely,
I don't restrict. I said to some of the lads that smoke, I said, "Well, you smoke, you have a drink, that's totally up to you. If you can't do it on a Saturday, you're not getting paid, but it's totally up to you." And our lads do go out on Friday night, whatever. You know, not all of them, because like I said, we are majority Muslim, but some of them are, we're not all religious, so some of them, they do what they do. It's totally up to them, as long as they come at a decent state on a Saturday and they're able to do the job, you know. But that sense of kind of belongingness and that pride in something has helped a lot of our boys, and myself included, kind of leave that life behind and focus on something a lot better.
That's fantastic, isn't it? Listen, mate, Ishaq, I'd just like to thank you for today. That's a really interesting chat today.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll probably need another one at some point in time, because I know you've got loads of stories to tell. But I think this is a great introduction to Baylis. And what you guys are doing. I actually think you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Carry on doing what you're doing, because it's brilliant what you're doing, and you guys are all doing. So guys, once again, I'd like to thank you for watching this podcast, Poges Cast. So if you do like it, please like and subscribe, and take a look at these guys' pages as well on Instagram. I'll put it into the description where they are, but thank you very much, and hope to see you again. Take care.
Cheers, Dan. Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much.